Lent Series, Christ's Own Forget Forever, Lent Renewal at St. Paul's. And I'm grateful that you made the time to be here, because by your coming and giving your attention to this time, we're making a space for everyone in the parish who wishes to explore their relationship with the baptismal covenant at greater depth. So by being here, you're helping to build not only your own spiritual life and your religious life, but the life of the whole parish. You're being of service to everybody. And the gist of this whole program for all the next 5 weeks is to look at the baptismal covenant. And we're going to explore this not by brilliant teaching, alas. I know you all want me to teach you for 50-minute lectures. No, but we're not going to do that. Nor are we going to go to the opposite extreme of everybody just sort of sounding off about what they like or don't like about church or Christianity or whatever. But we're going to ask you to listen to the elements of the baptismal covenant with real listening and with real vulnerability and curiosity, being grateful for those places where, I connect with the covenant there, right? But then also really wondering about, I really don't connect with that place or that place. And just being open about that and bringing that forward into conversation. So we're going to treat the baptismal covenant like poetry. As we're going to hear it, we're going to let it resonate and speak to us, and then we're going to come back with our own response about what we think it means for us. Does that sound good? Excellent. This is all very core because the baptismal covenant is our church's densest presentation of what it means to follow Jesus in the world, right? So it's absolutely at the core. What we're going to do for each of these 5 forums is that I will begin with an opening reflection just to share a little bit about the material at hand. There'll be writing prompts for you to write your own reflection. Those reflections are just for you, right? So you can write anything you want. You can write like, why do clergy always wear black shirts? I hate black shirts. Doesn't matter. You just write whatever you want. It's for you, but then we can also be sharing in the small groups from that reflection. So you'll reflect first and then share. We'll break out into small groups and share from there. There's no tyranny of sharing, as I like to say. You reflect for yourself. You bring what you want to share with the group. Does that sound good? Okay, excellent. So, you might tell I'm going kind of fast because we want to save at least 25 minutes for you to get to know each other in your small groups. And we'll have facilitators leading you to different spaces in the church for those more intimate discussions. Today, we're going to reflect on the part of the baptismal covenant called the Apostles' Creed. And I'd like you all to get out the red prayer book in front of you and turn to pages 304 and 305. The baptismal covenant is on pages 304 and 305. It's only a page and a half long. How bad could it be? Well, it asks a lot, to be honest. All right, on page 304 to 305, you see there are 2 parts to the covenant. One is the Apostles' Creed on the left side, left top, and then following that, there are 5 particular promises. Will you, I will with God's help, and so on, right? The first promise refers us back to the Apostles' Creed, saying, will you continue in the Apostles' fellowship and teaching? So what we're going to look at today is what we believe, or what the church offers us to believe, and how we relate to that church belief in terms of the Apostles' Creed. And the Apostles' Creed is really, really cool because it's so ancient. It goes back to the first centuries of Christianity, as Chris was eager to remind me. What does that mean? That means that people who knew Jesus, or people who knew Jesus, were putting the creed together. That's how far back it goes. That's crazy. Like someone saying, my uncle, he got healed by Jesus over there on that plain, and then we came to believe in him because of that, and this is what we believe. That's how core it goes. It's ancient, ancient, ancient. And it's enough there you can spend the rest of your life exploring it and you'll only get 5% in. It's so dense, right? What I'm going to do for our time, which is really limited, is to take those 3 sections of the Apostles' Creed. I believe in the Father, ... I believe in the Son, Jesus the Son, ... I believe in the Holy Spirit, right? I'm going to take each of those 3 sections and just offer a personal response of what they have come to mean for me in a way that I feel is theologically responsible, right? It's a job of the clergy. Like, I have to know what I'm saying. But what it means for me in terms of the church, tradition, and life. I'm going to then contrast them with what I call worldly beliefs, otherwise known as heresies. Yay. Because it makes it easier to see, right, if you see what it's not, but also because those heresies are things that gradually diminish us. They make us less alive, less capable of really being who we are called to be. All right. Are you ready? We're ready. All right. So the Apostles' Creed begins with, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. You see, I still got a lot to learn. Creator of heaven and earth. And what this is saying for me is that there is one God who we call Father, therefore in love. One God who in love created all this stuff, heaven and earth, everything from like angels to oceans to rocks to bacteria. And this God in love is deeply invested as a father in the wholeness and happiness of this creation. Wow, right? So there's like a love that says, I want all of this. And that's God the Father, or might say even God the Mother Almighty, kind of grabbing all of this and wanting all of this. There's not a God who makes a spiritual world and a God who makes the material world, which is what some people believed in ancient times. You had to get out of the material and the physical and the bodily to be close to God. No, it's all one. God creates all of it. And the personal meaning of this for me has only really dawned on me recently, and that is this. This is a little strange, because I'm a little strange. But what this means for me is that my glory, like my happiness and greatness and the beauty of me and the beauty of you being you in your existence is not, in fact, about anything you do. Your glory and your greatness and your wantability, the God's yes to you is not based on anything that you do. Your success, being admired by others, having a great life, having lots of stuff. The speedboat that you just bought doesn't make you great. Everybody's like, oh no. I thought it would. What makes us great, what gives us our glory, is that we're part of this totally amazing, rapturously beautiful creation. Holy cow. It is so beautiful. It is so good. From the supernova down to the bacteria, it's so amazing. And our glory is that we get to be a part of it. Our glory is found, in other words, in our belonging in and with this creation. Our belonging. This gets very close to some indigenous beliefs. I can love my life and say yes to it and say, God, it is, because it's part of this amazing beauty that this creation is, that the Father makes. All right? Opposed to this is the worldly belief or heresy that you and I all grow up with. And it starts with an experience of rupture. I'm not part of this created world. I don't know if I belong. Is there any place for me? I guess to be good, I have to do stuff. I have to succeed. I have to be better than other people. I better get going. I better be anxious about this, to be better than others, to make a self, to make a way in the world. There's that heresy, and that it feels so brutal, when actually we're just a part of this, like, this amazing glory of this created world that is open to the glory of God. So once we have that rupture, we have to fly 2,000 miles in air-polluting airplanes and stay at very expensive hotels. And then we have to take special tours to go out into the Rocky Mountains to have a 5-minute glimpse of awe and be like, oh, I guess this creation is beautiful and I'm part of it. But what if part of being Christian was a fundamental sense of like profound belonging in this created world? Like, just that I am part of this glory, and that's why I can say yes to me and yes to you. How does that sound? That sound pretty good? Apostolic teaching. I want you all to have legal pads, and I'm going to give you a prompt for your own reflection now. Around the sense of belonging. Has there been a time in your life when you experienced a sense of belonging in this created world? When you felt connected, a part of the goodness that included you and everything? And this could have been in the backyard while gardening, while taking someone communion, while praying, performing a piece of music, or while walking in the woods. Just take a few moments and describe that experience. What has it been like for you to feel like you belong in this glorious and singing and rapturous creation? What's it been like for you to belong? Can you imagine having that feeling of belonging all through your day? Just take a few minutes, and we'll take some minutes to write. What's it been like to belong? To feel like you're a part of things, of everything. You have nothing to prove. Now, because of where time is, I'm just going to do the second part of the creed. I'll leave the Holy Spirit to next week or to you all in your private ruminations. But I do want to say a little bit about the second part of the creed. I believe in God, in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, something. It says something like that. And it goes through all the life of Jesus, the incarnation, the crucifixion, and so on and so on. And these are the phrases that give us the most problem, right? We're like, I don't know if I believe in the virgin birth. I don't know if I believe in resurrection. I don't know if I believe in blah, blah, blah. But I want us to zoom way out and see the most basic and fundamental thing that is being said here. If the key word of the first part of the creed was belonging. The key word for the second part of the creed is joining. What this whole second part of the creed about is that, yes, God created us and all of heaven and earth and made us all one, but then we are suffering and we are hurt and we are blind and we're confused and we're lost in the middle of all of this, but God joins us in Jesus. God comes into our life, joins us in Jesus, and every human experience is in touch with God already. God is already here in touch with each moment of our experiencing. So what this creed means to me, this part of the creed, is that God has joined us in love in our human experience, and even suffering and sin and death and our rejection of God are not barriers to God's joining us and loving and healing us all. So joining. What if being Christian was not only a sense like, because I'm a Christian, I have a sense of profound belonging in this created world, but also I have a sense that God has come into my life and your life to heal us and to make us well in Jesus. And that healing and joining is like we can't stop it from happening. That's pretty good, right? I get to belong in this world, and I can believe that even where I'm hurt or where I have sinned or where things are wrong, God is at work to make that well, to bring me to healing. And the heresy that is opposite to this is pretty obvious, and that is that we have to climb our way to God, or that our sin or our suffering are too much for God to handle. Like, I can't possibly be made well. My life is too broken. It's too hurt. This world is too broken, too hurt. I'm too much for God, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but we often live with that. So for your prompt, for this reflection, where, if anywhere, do you experience or imagine God connecting with your life? I have said that God connects with your life everywhere. Every moment God is in there joining. But where do you experience that, or where do you imagine it's happening? Church, relationships, nature, family, sacraments, prayer. Just write a bit about where you feel God has joined with you.